You have the last agenda we had on May 2nd, and we went through and what we covered, and highlighted through that. We're at item number 13. Before we do that, Lance, go ahead and call the roll, please.
Janine Floyd. Here. Russell Reed.
Here.
Corey Davenport.
Here.
Karen Ashford. Here. Jim Bush.
Here.
Greg Mitchell.
Here.
Brent Brandon.
Here.
Randy Gannon.
Here.
Kim Davenport. Here. Ronnie Mahaffey.
Here.
All present.
All right, at the last meeting, we were at item, or we decided to revisit item number 13, resolution to include approved school roofs. I'll leave it back up to discussion.
Good. I make a motion that we approve $2.171 million to get them a roof.
I got discussion, please.
Go ahead, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Discuss.
Freddie, on the email that you was kind enough to send to us, that you had conveyed your conversation with Mr. Kurt, SWR, Sword, yes, Sword. And then you forwarded also his actual email that he had put together and sent as well. In y'all's conversation, I know there's alluded to that you got a better chance of cost being less bid-wise if you did it in the winter months in order to
Correct.
than how the work done in summer, since they're slower, roofing is slower in the winter months than it is in that. Did y'all have any more in-depth discussion as far as what that lower cost might look like?
Well, he predicts, of course, when you get into a bidding environment, it's different certainly, but
Yes.
when you get into a bidding environment, he was estimating that the fiber type would probably cost about $30,000 more on a high school roof, and about $6,000 to $7,000 on Woodbury Grammar and on compared to current TPO prices. So that was the good news that he gave us. So I was very thrilled with that, because the cost that Gregor had given us was, $1.8 million, and he said this will be only about $30,000 in a competitive environment with roofers. When roofers are quote hungry, and hungry usually ends up about 4 months before the summertime, and he was saying he would greatly suggest, him and Gregor Smear Architects, that we don't bid this out until probably November, December, January timeframe.
I noticed either in the paper or you stated one, I can't remember, but anyway, it was identified that your board had already went ahead and approved to proceed with the bid process?
And that bid process was that, and they have now since said, that's up to us to decide when that bid process will be. They put that on my plate too.
So the mindset probably is to seriously consider the colder months.
Absolutely. Because right now, you don't know what labor and what's going on with the exchange rate with China and other factors that make roofers a little bit more edgy to bid something out a year from now.
Yes.
And so we're probably going to bid that out probably at the architect's recommendation and Mr. Swart's recommendation if we go back with a fiber type. And fiber type is the industry standard, built in here in Tennessee.
Yes.
And employs Tennesseans, so I think that's a good, and quality is there. In fact, I do want to give the commission update. Thank you for calling me, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that I found out today, and our roofers were up there. I was at the high school earlier today, and the roofers were there from Harkins Roofing in Cookville, who are fiber type, and they've said that they would be certainly like to be in the bidding war, the bidding process when that's done. So with the repair on the 2005 edition should be completed by about now. So we're very fortunate after investigating that was under warranty, and that leaks will stop on that end of the 2005 edition. So that's the good news today.
Yes. I appreciate that insight. I called Mr. Swart, had a long conversation on Friday as well, since he extended the invitation. Everybody had questions asked where. So I called him up and had a very lengthy conversation, and was really impressed, even though certainly he was selling the fiber type roof. But I will give him credit, by George, based on the experience that he identified, 40+ years, not uncommon at all for those roofs to last. I think he was shooting straight in the comments that he gave me and the feedback he gave me. The thing, though, that really caught me off guard discussed it with you, Mr. Burns, was, he said, and again, you don't know till the bid is done,
Right.
but certainly, you know, he is a maker of the materials as well as an installer of the material. So he does it all. In fact, he made the comment, it's not uncommon that he works directly with the schools and don't even have to go through an architect for roof purposes to accomplish that, which would certainly be a savings from the architect being taken off the table if it's not
And
necessary.
they usually put that in the bidding contract, the architect fees, and you want somebody that knows a whole lot more about roofing than I do.
Well, again, if you're dealing with an experience, and again, that's what the bid process
Right, the
is for.
experience process.
Yes, sir.
Because one of the problems that we have with the current roof that's on there right now was that it was, one of the reasons that there had been problems, that it was installed incorrectly.
Yes,
So
sir.
you want individuals who know what they're doing, who've done this roofing before and can do it right. And that's where you go back and do the inspection afterwards. But then you do also a post-inspection, which would be a certain on my calendar, that we do a post-inspection 2 years from now to see how it's weathering. And that's what they would want us to do. And certainly we would have the roofing contractor come back and do a post-inspection 2 years after.
Like I said, he was not saying this in concrete, but he said everything except saying that if he was bidding it today. He said he would put that roof on at $8 a square foot,
That's fantastic.
the KEE roof. And he said basically what you're looking at, you got the same labor cost regardless of which roof you use.
Right.
Basically, you take your materials plus your accessories, which is your glue and your screws you identify. So in essence, the membrane and the screws and the glue is your materials you're using, and whatever price that is, which he says in this case is roughly $4. You double it for labor. So he said $8 would be where he would be at to provide to, based on the information he has. So I just.
And Mr. Smee can certainly answer the technical questions more about that than I can.
Yeah.
But there's going to be parts that will be torn off and parts that will not be torn off, depending upon whether moisture has penetrated that. And they'll use this moisture penetrating radar or whatever that they use on it to make sure that that's not. Then they'll put the insulation on there too.
Yes.
Key is the insulation. That's what you want for savings for the next 40 years. The saving will be there for your insulation.
Yes, sir, and the $8 included from 2.5 to 5 inch, where you want
Right.
installation, that's part of the $8.
Yeah, and that's good.
So again, cost-wise, versus the 12 to 14 range that the architect came up with, and he had all the information in front of him. It didn't
Yeah,
matter.
prices vary a whole lot. You get into the bidding, but especially a good competitive bidding environment.
Yes.
I don't know if you watch Antiques Roadshow sometimes, but they'll tell you the same thing. There, they'll say, in a competitive bidding environment, that it can go as high as. So that's what this is. It depends how hungry people are. And I've had different roofing companies contact me, and said, we're hungry. We want to bid on this.
Yes, sir. Well, and again, the guy convinced me absolutely, number one, he was legit. Number two, he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And number three, he wasn't blowing on smoke. He was giving facts.
Yeah. And he's a consultant that FiberTite has in the state. That's who they call when and I didn't know Kurt beforehand, but because I dealt with the FiberTite guys, and they told me the company that sells Siemens, and they said, well, we're going to put the guy who's a representative who represents us, and that's where Mr. Sword contacted me.
Yes.
I did find something intriguing in my research. I did find that where back in 2009 that our maintenance supervisor had contacted them, but they didn't follow through. The system didn't follow through about that. We had to sign off on something, and that I indicate was never signed upon. So they did try 2009, but to no avail.
Well, I just ran the numbers based on the high school, the Woodland, and Woodbury at the $8 for the KE roofs, and that's $1,351,232. $1,351,232. Which appears based, and again, I know you're not moving forward based on what you said to the cold months, and certainly that we would not execute any kind of a loan until that would be in
Right,
place.
and the reason is I don't want to disrupt students' learning.
Sure.
With them working on roofs, I've done that before.
That makes sense.
I've been that before when I was at Westside, it's not a pleasant experience to them banging around and carrying on a roof while you're trying to teach.
Yes, sir.
And so, and they pretty well guarantee me they could put that on, all three, within our span from the last day of, would be the 23rd of May, 2020, till April 1, 2020, they could get them all done.
Yes, sir. And since, as of to 5/21, today, 5/21,
Yes.
we're in a balance in the education debt fund service of $2,548,750.67. $2,548,750.67. I would make a motion that we, and I know there's a motion second on the table, so I guess I'm out of order. But I'll make a motion that we transfer $1,351,232 from the education debt service fund over to the capital outlay budget of the school system and pay for the rest.
How are we gonna,
Any other discussion concerning that?
how are we gonna pay for something that we haven't bid yet?
Well, again, you just put money in the pot based upon the information you have.
So what happens if we come back and this 1.3 is 2.171?
Well, again, we have to then make, because we're not going to execute no loan now for something that's not going to occur months and months and months down the road anyway. Then you would just step back and go forward.
I think the loan actually is only good, or the bid is only good, when we get a bid too, the loan is only good for like a 4-month period. So they have to go back to the market again, to the rate, whether it's variable or fixed. But Russell, you got to say something, Janine?
Yeah, switch them on,
What?
do them all,
What does that mean?
do all the roads.
Well, you got a number on it?
Nope.
We're just gonna borrow money and.
Well, this is where our discussion has been on those three roofs, and that's where the research has been done, and that's where we just pull the plug or put the stop on that discussion.
I still have, I have a motion on the table.
Can I just bring some?
Yes, Lord.
Well, $2.171 million, which you three roofs on KEDs.
After talking with Mr. Solar, I believe so. I would sign the dotted line right now if I said, if he said that he would do
Okay,
that.
and when will you bid this out?
We'll probably not bid it out until December. I would get recommendation from Mr. Solar and from Mr. Smee, our architect, about the time to do that.
Okay.
He said, what it is that roofing laborers like to set things about 3 to 4 months out, not a year out. They get edgy because they can't depend, and this comes down to some interesting stats, but it comes down to they can't get the labor, that they can't forecast what labor they're gonna have next summer. That's where the problem lies. If he could tell me right now, I could get a bid for that and run it, and company A would come and put fiber tight on all three of those, I'd sign the thing right now to do that. But it's because of labor. It's not the product. Good Tennesseans build the product, but we turn right around and they can't get the installers to install it during that time. So summer is the key time to do this.
And again, if you talk to the guy, heard the guy speak, he was very confident in what he was saying. Labor, basically, you double your material cost. That's what your labor is going to cost you. And the cost on the labor is the same regardless of what we put on. And again, him being both the manufacturer of the product and installer of the product, the guy certainly knew what he was talking about. And if he was placing a bid today, I know what the bid would be for, because he said what it was going to be for.
But
And that's
holding
what-
them to that is the.
Well, you can't, and we know that, but neither can no one else. But it is, we know it is a legit figure. It's not pie in the sky.
Right.
Okay.
So why would we go ahead and approve something for $1 million more?
I guess I gotta ask the question, why would we go ahead and underbid, hoping that we're gonna roll the dice and it works?
Well, let me tell you that, if you take the 2.1 and it's underbid, I'll take that, I will guarantee, I will take that fund, and we will do another roof, we'll do west side, or east side, or those others. We can turn right around, I can turn right around and see what west side would be, and west side's estimated at $409K with the TPO, add another $5,000 or $6,000, and there you go, that's be about what? On the TPO, if you had another $5,000 or $6,000, let's say that's $415,000. if we had that much left over, I'd apply it to another one, and apply it to another, like what Russell said
The
now.
only question I got is just to, because I'm in a contract right now with St. John Engineering, and I'm paying basically a fee. Are you paying any fees right now concerning this roof project?
None, we've already paid the architect, which was about $14,000 for the roof study that we did back in the 17-18. But whether it was in this year's budget, we went ahead and paid it because it was going to be longer. The board voted to go ahead and pay Mr. Smith because the project had lingered. It would normally been in the cost.
And the reason why I'm asking you, would we transfer educational debt service fund to your capital outlay fund? That's what I'm trying to say.
That's beyond my pay grade, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Diane, I'm misspeaking here, that's exactly essentially what I heard Ronnie say.
Well,
We're able, I mean, I know educational debt service is a restricted account.
I think we'd have to take conference on this one.
I guess too, why would we transfer anything until we get into a contract?
Well, we would.
That's my point, so why would we want to make $1.3 million into education and service fund today for something that we're not gonna need for another year?
Saying we're capable.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Well, yeah, I think, and.
I just made that statement from perspective, that shows
I'm
our,
not
that,
excited, I just asked a question.
that shows our,
The comptroller would be excited
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I-
That I agree.
Can we change our motion to say that amount of money, and if there is enough left over to do another roof?
folks, our financial condition of this county, why would we want to
Ronnie,
incur
that
anything more?
education, that service fund has no effect on their general.
Oh, in totality, absolutely, everything comes together, you can't pick and set this aside, it has no effect on the county.
The
Sure
comptroller
it does.
said it does. They literally said that money belongs to the education debt service fund, we can't use it for anything else.
But in totality of the finances of this county, everything comes together as a puzzle.
I
Everything
get
does,
that, but
everything
But
does.
you can't take that money out and use it for
No,
anything else.
so you can't say it affects everything else when you can only use it for that one thing.
There's a motion on the table.
Yeah, there's a motion on the table, let's make sure we review the motion. The motion
Yeah.
is, you.
I'll make, my motion is that we appropriate $2.171 million at a fixed rate on a 12-year loan to be used to utilize roofs on Cannon County High School, Woodland Grammar School, and Woodbury Grammar School. And if you come under that, whatever you have left over, you apply it to whatever the next needed roof is,
Which would be West Side.
which, that's your choice. I don't know.
And that'd be my second.
Does everybody understand the motion? Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Need to get a second.
Yeah, Karen Asher, give a second.
Janae Floyd,
No,
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Corey Davenport.
Yes.
Karen Ashford,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
The numbers don't work.
No.
Greg Mitchell,
Yes.
Brent Brandon,
Yes.
Randy Gannon,
Yes.
Kim Davenport,
No.
Ronnie Mahaffey.
No.
6-4, motion carried.
Next item under, what's that?
Can I do what I would ask?
Yeah.
I'd like to, if I could, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to revisit, the fairground fee, and I'd like to remake my motion I made, and that is to make a motion to exempt all nonprofit organizations from the fairground fee, use fee, but to charge the refundable fee, to be returned after cleaning, also, and to charge, for-profit organization $250 for the use, $250 refundable fee to be returned after it's cleaned after the meeting.
That's my guy seconded that motion last week.
Is that, y'all clear on that?
Does that include mowing?
I mean, you didn't,
Let me see. You ain't gonna be able to read that.
make a motion to exempt nonprofits, organization, fairground, charge,
But to charge for
refundable fee
refundable.
to fund after
Clean.
clean, and charge that profit, for profit, $250 for use, yes. Janine.
I believe that every entity who's been renting, for the most part, is nonprofit.
By what definition?
They've got a nonprofit, they're nonprofit, I mean, they're not for profit, 501c3. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it.
That's what motion's gonna say.
So there's basically no one that will be paying to use the
we have a motion on the table from Greg Mitchell, and we have a second from Corey Gunborg.
You asked about bump mowing. Would you amend your motion to say a $50 mowing fee? Sure.
Will that cover it for a year?
Per use.
Will 50 cover it, Brent? Well, the mowing fee and the electricity and the water comes out to about $700 a month, but,
But nobody reads it, we still pay that $700.
we do.
So you did your motion here, and I'll second his amended motion.
Call the roll.
Janine Floyd,
No.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Corey Davenport,
Yes.
Karen Ashford,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
No.
Greg Mitchell,
Yes.
Brent Brandon,
Yes.
Randy Gannon,
Yes.
Kim Davenport,
No.
Ronnie Mahaffey.
No.
6-4, motion carried.
Thank you.
All right. Next thing we have under other business is budget amendments. These have been for the budget committee. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve the rest of that any discussion.
Any discussion?
No, they was all approved by the
Budget committee, so just call the roll.
Janine Floyd, Yes. Russell Reed,
Yes.
Corey Davenport,
Yes.
Karen Ashford,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Greg Mitchell,
Yes.
Brent Brandon,
Yes.
Randy Gannon,
Yes.
Kim Davenport,
Yes.
Ronnie Mahaffey.
Yes.
Okay, open for any other business.
I got something, that's all right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That, hotel what that passed. Was passed April the 18th and signed on the second day of May, so that's the amended version that the legislation passed. It says that hotel does not include a nonprofit campground. It includes a portion of the camp fees for housing. We've got to pass that at 2 meetings. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve this at this meeting.
One second.
Y'all
Discussion? How are you going to pass something when you don't have it in your hand? Because that's what happened the last time. The last
Sign
time,
by the bill?
It's on the,
Years,
it's on
I
the
know
agenda
that.
for the next agenda meeting. I put it on there. Well, there's actually 2 resolutions that were signed by the governor. There's 2 sections of that amendment. There's section 10 and there's section 1. One affects the hotel motel, the other affects where the money goes in section 10. Let's make sure y'all are clear on that before we proceed.
I haven't seen it,
It's the same motion that we had prior, the money to do it was done exactly what it should have done.
but that's what they did, used to do all the time. Used to approve minutes, there was no minutes. And am I not right? Am I not right, Russell? You all approved that, you
The
didn't have it
last
in your
one you
hand.
guys approved without
Same.
reading it, that's why we're in this.
That's right.
Right here it is, you can read it.
The second time it was passed, there was nothing handed out.
There you go. That's what my point
Not
is.
that I can find.
I guarantee
In my
you it
paperwork.
probably wasn't, because I used to go to all the meetings.
It's the same one. If we don't do this now, what's gonna happen is we're gonna wind up charging the Bible camp for another year. for
June
another
the
year.
6th is our next meeting.
We have to pass it in 2 consecutive meetings, which means it'll be July when we can pass it, which means camp season is June and July. They'll be charged another year for no reason.
Corey, I am not going to pass anything.
That's fine,
If
vote
you
no.
don't feel comfortable. Correct.
Okay, well, I have a motion for, is this for just one section?
This is the same motion we had in January.
There's 2 sections. I just want to make sure.
If you want to include yours, I'll include yours.
No, there's none of them.
Well, you know what I mean, the one where,
There's 2. There's actually 2 sections to make sure there's a resolution of the money going to the Chamber of Commerce was actually passed. That is came in. And then this resolution too.
well, we can simplify it this way too. If you don't want to do this, I'll make a motion that we rescind the 2013 version and forget it. Then we ain't got
second.
We already got a motion.
Yeah.
I'm second.
That was for-
I mean, the first one, I'll stick with it.
Does it make sense?
So which section of this are we?
The only thing we're doing right here is the same thing that we should have done in 2013.
I understand, this right here is section 1 of chapter 23, section 1 of chapter 23 of the Private Act 2013, and any others. So again, it defines the word hotel does not include nonprofit campgrounds that include a portion of the camp fee for outlets. So make sure, there's also a resolution out there that was signed by the governor, and it's under section 10, and it's where the money goes.
Where
So
it
make sure.
captures the amount that the Chamber of Commerce gets and the rest
Correct,
of it.
correct. So this is section 1, I just want to make sure. This is section 1, I have a motion on the table. Who's got a second?
Second.
May I say that?
Yes, sir.
Folks, this ain't the way we do
No,
it.
we're just like throwing stuff on the table and
This is
just
the
doing
way we
it.
do
This is, we didn't.
I've had it
even
since
look
May
at
the
it.
second, I can't help it that y'all didn't get it or didn't read it. I mean,
This is not the way commission
This
does
is the way
business
it is.
anywhere.
This is
Oh,
wrong.
other
This is
business,
wrong.
just flipped it in
This
here
is
and.
wrong.
Excuse
Put it
me.
in here.
I'm being
We have a motion and a second, we have to vote, and we
Right.
can vote against it if you don't want to do it.
Okay, call the roll.
no, it's not, it's got to have 7. Y'all three can stick together and knock it out.
I don't know what you're talking about, three stick together, I vote.
Just don't do it now.
Call the roll.
Janine Floyd,
No.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Corey Davenport,
Yes.
Karen Ashford,
Yes.
Jim Bush, Greg Mitchell,
Yeah.
Greg Brandon,
Yes.
Randy Gannon,
Yes.
Kim Davenport,
No.
Ronnie Mahaffey,
No.
6-4.
So it fails.
Fails.
Now I make a motion that we rescind the 2013 hotel motel tax.
I'll second.
I'm not exactly sure what the 2013 hotel motel tax that was rescinded. All right, making sure, I wasn't here in 2013. So y'all clear, I got a motion on the table, discussion over rescinding hotel. These showed up this week, these will be presented, these was going to be presented at the next, so that was the official document, you have copies of them, and you'll be getting them in your next packet.
Okay, bring it as county attorney. I think I don't think you can propose something, that there isn't, that there's different confusion on what is being proposed for the 2013 tax.
This is the 2013 hotel motel tax that was passed by the county commission. It's the same thing that,
Do you know what that is?
I've not had time to sit down, read, and digest these, and that's the reason why I made my statement as I did. This isn't the way you do county business and make decisions representing your constituents when you don't have the information of what you understand, and Columbia Act does not meet that test.
I'll just say this, I completely understand.
I'm not talking, I said.
The 2013 hotel motel, yeah, absolutely, I understand it, I've been dealing with it for 6 months.
Okay. Right. Explain it to the others.
They all understand. It's the same tax that we have been dealing with for 6 months. It's the tax that was supposed to be for the hotel motel, which was not to include the ball or the horse ride. It was passed.
It was non-profit.
Non-profit. Well, then it comes back after it's passed from the state, and that's not in there, and they voted on it and passed it the second time, and the way it was wrote, it included all of it, which was supposed to exclude.
And we all voted in January to send it back to the legislature to have that section amended.
Right, after Mark Cody come in here and talk to us, all of us about it.
I'm not understanding how we're doing business right here because we're not
Hey,
having.
look, I was asked if
resolutions.
I understood and why y'all don't understand, so I just told you. There you go.
Information that to be acted upon is to be given to us. How do you name it, fast name?
Well, then why are we looking at this insurance?
That's what, you're making no decision, that's for information purposes only, Brent.
Well, I
Information
can't
on
tell you
this
how many
part.
times we've had stuff without 5 days notice in the last 8 months.
And like you said, Mark Twain came to us. and
I made a commitment that I was going to be up to speed and knowledgeable about things I can't.
Well, can I make this statement about you? You abstained last time.
I passed last.
Passed.
Well,
So
and
if you're going-
if I had had this